I haven't done this in a while. Oh fuck, I forgot I was recording. Action, I say. I said action apparently without saying action. I'm fucking tired. Gonna make some chili. So welcome back. It's been a while. It's been a rough winter. I definitely don't like all the snow. Help me! Help! Really, really sick of this weather. All right, well, let's make some chili. I got everything out on the counter here. This is a chili recipe that I got from a buddy of mine named Tiny. He gave it to me quite some time ago. He got it from a chili book. It's a very simple recipe, but of course I have a few little things that I tweaked in it as well that I like to do. And it's always good. 100% of the time, good chili. And I'm not really sure where to start, so I guess I'll just start prepping some ingredients. So I'll just kind of go over the recipe really quick. All in all, it's going to be an onion, 2 cloves of garlic, but I like to use more, 2 pounds of ground beef, half a teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons chili powder, 1 tablespoon cumin, some Worcestershire, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire, but I use more. We're going to use a table. The recipe calls for Tabasco. I don't have any. I'm going to use some Frank's. Use what you like, really. Tablespoon of sugar, about 29 or 30 ounces of tomato sauce, and then 2 cans of kidney beans. You can either use dark or light. I like to use one of each. And then we'll throw some water in. And I like to use a little can of diced chilies. These specifically are really good. I used these last time I made chili and I was really impressed with it. The fire roasted side of this is pretty good. I would recommend adding this as well. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants on this. Haven't done it in a while. I'm not sure if I screwed something up so far, so if I said anything wrong, or I'll definitely put it in the description below. But first, let's prep some stuff. So the kidney beans, I like to drain and rinse. These things are canned, right? So there's a lot of preservatives, there's a lot of salt in here. I just like to drain it all and get them nice and clean. This is a pretty cool can opener I got. Everybody's got their own kind, right? This one's like a safety can opener. I love it. It takes a few more turns, but wait till you see this. This is so cool. Oh, look at that. Nice. One more, uno más. And then it's got a little gripper on here where you can grab the can top and pull it right up. Sweet. So, grab like a bowl and move over to the sink here. So what I like to do is pour out some of this crap. Dump the rest in there. Ew. Pour this out. Oh, bean down! Pour that out. So this is always something that kind of weirded me out when you clean these as well. I mean, look at all those bubbles. It almost seems like there's soap in there. It's so weird. Obviously there's no soap in here, but you know, I'm not sure what they can these things with or that makes the water do that. But I tell you what, I don't want to eat it. Oh, beans down. So I'm just gonna do some quick rinsing, get that canning liquid off of there. Nice and clean now. You can kind of pat them dry with a little paper towel, maybe put them in a different bowl, or I'm just gonna throw these in the fridge for now though. Oh, if you're wondering, I do a lot of meal prep, and I cooked up a bunch of chicken. I just threw it in here to cool down. I'm gonna take it out, measure like little packs of chicken, wrap it up in like just some plastic wrap and throw it in the freezer. It's great for just adding to like ramen noodles or any kind of dish you want just to add some chicken to. All right, beans are done. So now we need an onion. So 1 white onion is pretty much all you need. You could use a Vidalia onion, yellow onion. I like to use white. And I always like to put a little piece of paper towel down to kind of just help me keep that clean and just throw that away. Tell you what, I've been really loving chopping up vegetables lately. It's kind of therapeutic. Yeah, if you see any bigger pieces, you can just go at it with some side chops. Good enough. Man, I made a big ass mess. I need a bigger cutting board. I have a bigger cutting board. Why don't I use it? God, I'm so dumb. All right, onions good to go. Garlic. Now the garlic recipe calls for 2. Tiny uses double the garlic when he does this recipe. I like to use like 6 to 8 cloves of garlic because I like garlic. These look pretty beefy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that'll do. Just put it off to the side for now. So, you know, if that's a little too much garlic for you, you know, just use 2, use 3, use 4. Don't use any. I don't know who wouldn't use garlic. Some kind of monster. I really screwed this one up. Just no garlic skills. Alright, got all the stupid garlic wrappers off. Ooh, missed one. I think I'm gonna start with my garlic press. So what I like to do with my garlic, what I'll do is I'll put it in my garlic press, press it into a nice little pile, and then I'll chop it up a little finer. Oh no! This garlic had a bit of a green stem in it. Makes me wonder, there's something with garlic that when it starts sprouting, I want to say I think it gets bitter. I'm in too deep now, I'm gonna have to use it. I don't have time to run to the store. Hopefully they all don't have that green in them, but oh man, that one had a little bit too. Look at that. Shit. Now I'm just gonna chop it up a little more to help it break down in the chili. Alright. Cool. I'm also gonna prep these as well. Just open these cans up so I'm ready to throw them in. Oh man, this thing's awesome. Look at this. It's so slick. This thing is so much more hygienic as well because you don't have that blade that gets in there, and then that if you don't clean the blade off properly, it can grow a lot of bacteria. It doesn't leave a sharp edge that you can cut yourself on. So cool. So now I'm just gonna mix my dry spices together. I'm gonna do it 2 ways. I'm gonna do it by weight and volume, just so you can have both. Not everybody uses a scale. I've done this recipe plenty of times now, so I have a good idea of what the weight of the spices are, but I'll give you the equivalent volume measurement as well. So let's start with some sugar. Should be 1 tablespoon of sugar. And if my scale is correct, it should be about 13.5 grams. Ooh, look at that. Oh, you can't see it. Maybe you can see it. So it ended up being 13.7. Perfect. Let's do some salt. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Oh man, I don't have a dish. Do this over the sink. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So this should be about 3.5 grams. 3.49, good enough. Now we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of chili powder. And that should end up being about 25.5 grams. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. So 24.14. Now granted, I used the top of my finger to try to level that, so that's fine. I'll just top it off real quick. Cumin powder. Cumin, ground cumin. 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, about 7 grams. Alright, I'll do I think 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon. I guess I'll find out. It should be around 7 grams. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it's about 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon, but 1 tablespoon, I'll just top it off to about 7. Alright, so now we got our dry spice mix. We'll put this off to the side with our other ingredients. Now I can measure out the wet ingredients. I think the recipe called for about 2 teaspoons of this, but a 1 tablespoon is definitely good and worth it. This stuff is very, very awesome for enhancing any dish. Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire? And then I also like to add some hot sauce. The recipe called for some Tabasco. I don't have any, and it's kind of like use the amount you like. So I'll probably put about a tablespoon of Tabasco, or Mike's as well. Ooh, that's good. All right, so we're almost done. So we're almost ready to start cooking. The last thing is the beef. So you need about 2 pounds of beef. What I like to do is I get an 85% lean, 15% ground chuck, and then a 95% lean, 5% fat ground sirloin. I find this is a really good combination. You get a lot of good meaty flavors from the sirloin, and it still has a decent amount of fat with the ground chuck. And when you do a lot of cooking of ground beef recipes, they'll say drain. Basically, in my opinion anyway, that means draining the fat out. So when you use like an 80-20 ground beef, you'll see a lot more fat. This combination of fat to meat ratio is perfect, where there's literally nothing to drain. There's no extra fat. If you like fat, leave it in the dish. If you don't like fat, drain it. It's really up to you. It's your personal preference. It's smoking. What's that? There's something on the burner. All right, I'm gonna start browning the beef to start. Get yourself like a nice little pot like this, or even like a Dutch oven would work. Just something you can brown some meat in and then have a lid on for the longer cooking. So I got this pan heating up to about, I don't know, roughly 8 on the stove here. Basically what I want to do is just brown it. So when you brown beef in a pot like this, you end up getting that fond in the bottom. That's what I'm looking for. I want to get like a nice layer of fond in the bottom to help add to the overall flavor of the chili. I think it's getting pretty hot. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil, just a little bit of olive oil in there, just to kind of help things along. Meat! Holy crap! Alright, now I'm going to fry this up. It'll probably take a little while to get it all browned up. This is something I just got recently. I haven't used it very much, but I wanted to try it. One of the hardest things about doing any kind of ground beef dish is breaking it up. So I wanted to see if this thing was worth it. Let that heat up a bit. One thing I wanted to kind of like point out is, you see how like, kind of back to the term drain. Some people think that that means once this is all not pink anymore, you would drain all the extra liquid in here. That is not the case in my opinion, because a lot of that is just juice from the actual beef itself. On top of that, there's fat in there that we still want. Like I mentioned earlier, this combination, once it's all nice and browned, it's like the perfect amount where you don't even have to drain it. All that extra juice from the meat evaporates, and the small amount of fat in there actually kind of just incorporates back into the beef, and it's like, chef kiss. Oh, I should be using this thing. Break some of this up. Seems like it's getting all the big chunks pretty decent. While this is kind of continuing to render down, maybe I'll lower it just a bit to give myself a little more time. Because what I want to do is cook... I want to cook up my onions and garlic a little bit on the side. Doing a little like pre-cook on them, let them sweat, get the sweetness out of the onions. That also kind of helps it break down way better in the chili when we do our longer cook. Move it to the back burner here. It's a little bigger of a burner. All right, get the onions in there. Get them to start sizzling. The beef is looking really good. You can see there's still a little bit of moisture in there. And once that moisture is gone, it's gonna start sticking to the bottom and making that fond. And that's what we want to kind of build up. There's gonna be a lot of good flavor from that. Put a little salt and pepper in the onions. Never be a bad idea. I also turned the heat down. I had it on like freaking high because I'm dumb. Get back over there. All right, let's look at this. Looking good. Oh yeah, this was working out great. Got a nice fine grind on the beef. So it looks like it's turning out really good. Another thing you can do with onions, is we can put a little water in there, and that water will help steam them, help them cook a little faster, caramelize them a little better. The water will also help the onions from burning if you leave the pan on hot. Like some kind of animal. Okay, so now if I kind of look at the beef here, you start to see that some of these bits of beef are starting to stick to the bottom. Not many, but we're kind of getting there. So what I really want to do is I just want to get like a nice layer of that kind of sticking to the bottom. What do I got? I've turned the heat down to about 6 or 7, and we'll just let that kind of go and continue to kind of build a nice fond on the base of that. And the onions, I put a little more water in. But this is going at about 7-ish as well. They're starting to feel nice and softened, but they're also still a little firm. We just kind of want to start breaking them down, so they help release some of those natural sugars, and then they'll break down even better in the chili. Okay, here we go. Kind of see how it's starting to stick at the bottom there. That's what we want. And probably start turning the heat down a bit so we don't burn it. I'm kind of scraping it away with my spatula, but you can see there, that browning right there, that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. A little bit of fond goes a long way. Once you get like some nice fond on the bottom, what you can do is you can kind of grab some water real quick again, and now the water will allow you to scrape the rest of that fond off the bottom. Not adding a ton, just enough to help use your spatula to get it off, because we want to get that into the dish. Now once you've done that, I like to just turn this off. Jump back to our onions here, which I forgot about, and it looks like they're burnt a little, so that's great. So if I didn't burn the onions, that would have been cooler, obviously. But what I like to do then is when these get a little closer to finished, now that they're over finished, I like to put the garlic in. And I just want to heat the garlic up just a little bit. Doesn't take long with the garlic, a minute or two. I don't know, a general rule in cooking, I think, is you look for things to be golden brown, not necessarily black. All right, so we're gonna pour that right into the meat. Straight recording. All right. Okay, so now we have a nice mixture of beef, onions, and garlic. Have all the fond scraped off the bottom, and I gotta tell you, even this alone smells really good. So really, we don't have much left to do. We're pretty close to finished. We're just basically dumping all of this stuff into here, and then we're gonna let it slow cook for a long time so a lot of the stuff gets nice and happy. And so first we'll just start dumping in tomato sauce. Then you can take it back to your sink, rinse it out a bit, get the rest of that in there. But, you know, use a little water to get the extra tomato sauce out of there. Awesome. So tomato sauce, we'll throw our Worcestershire and hot sauce in. We're gonna throw our spice mixes in. And then diced green chilies, fire roasted, for just a little more flavor. Stir it all up. Make sure everything's nice and incorporated. Scrape the bottom with your spatula, make sure you got all that fond off. Perfect. So now all we really want to do here is, I think I usually keep it around 2, just real low heat with the top on at a minimum, I don't know, maybe a couple hours. The longer you can just kind of let it sit on the stove, the better. This is something you could do in the afternoon, and then by dinner time it would be perfect. We'll start this up and come back to it when it's ready. Boop, 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 boop. We're back, and it's been about 2 hours of the chili cooking with the lid on like 2. And basically what I was looking for was like, if you just see, I don't know if you can see it through the glass, we're just getting like little bubbles on the top surface. Just little bubbles of boiling. Just enough heat where it's just, you know, slowly simmering. And this is looking fantastic. All right, it's basically done. If it's a little too watery yet, cook it with the top off for a little while to help kind of thicken it up. And if you like, but oh yeah, I forgot the beans. I forgot all about them. All right, back to the beans, because we gotta add the beans. So these have been just sitting in the fridge chilling. You remember we washed these off. All I'm gonna do is add these like right at the end of the cooking, and then let them sit in here, continue to cook them for like another 20 minutes for them to kind of warm up and get good with the chili. So I'm just gonna dump them in. Oh wait, there's a little extra water in here. I'm gonna drain this out. Oh yeah, I don't wanna add that extra water to my chili. And that's why sometimes I'd, you know, put these on like a paper towel to get that extra moisture out of there. I mean, it's not a horrible thing, you just would have to cook the extra moisture out. But we'll throw some beans in, and then I'm gonna stir this up. And now the chili is dropping in temperature because we just added a bunch of cold beans. So what I think I'll do is turn it maybe about to a 4 for a little while, put the top off, and we'll cook it a little more. All right, see you in a little bit. All right, this has been sitting for 20 minutes. Cover off, cranked it up to about a 4 there. Now the beans are heated through, and it should be ready to rock. And I suppose the final thing to do in this chili cook-off would be to just give her a little taste-a-roo and see how she turned out. All right. Holy fuck, that's hot. Oh, too hot. Too hot. Let it cool down before you eat it. Whew. Oh my god, way too hot. But needless to say, it's super good. Tastes really awesome. It's just the perfect basic chili recipe. Really easy. So, go home and give her a try. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Or don't. I don't give a fuck. Bye.